What up, Naughty Steppers? It's Connor Whitmore here again with another review for you on the Nawtystep channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the new EP from Chime, released on Disciple Records, Sidequest. Harvey Thompson is back with his fourth EP in just under a year, and first for the Disciple label. Following on from last year's Experience Points, Featherweight and Evolve projects, which helped to ensure that 2018 was mile and away his most successful year thus far. Not only on a quantity level in releasing 3 EPs over a 7-month period, but also on a quality level, his music stacked with incredibly ambitious and adventurous ideas, whilst bringing a unique brand of melodic dubstep further into the bass music limelight. He's kept just as busy following the Evolve EP, for one collaborating with fellow glitchy dubstepper Xylent, before releasing a remix package, then his own remixes for Never Say Die and Dr. P, and now we have another EP from him in Sidequest to really cement the fact that this man is a machine. But I did have a question going into this one, and that was whether he could keep up that incredible standard from last year, or whether conversely it would fall slightly short comparatively, and unsurprisingly so, given how good his 2018 was. And the answer for me, similar to when I reviewed the Evolve EP, is that it's somewhere in the middle. Sidequest is a very good project in itself, another huge breath of fresh air in the current dubstep climate, but in comparison to EPs like Experience Points, Featherweight, and to some extent Evolve, I wouldn't say it has the same wow factor on an ideas level or in terms of its emotional reach. Having said that, it is yet another Chime EP where there is something very enjoyable about every single track. The melody to open the EP on the title track with Lone Moon is beautiful in its many forms. Not quite on the level of melodies of the recent past of tracks such as Experience Points and Coins, but it still takes you on its own blissful journey, and I'd say it grows on you the more you listen to it. Also notable on the introduction front is Wallbreaker with Sekai. The intergalactic, voyaging synths to start the track are so good, making me feel like a superhero about to save the world. And the midsection is noteworthy here too, very hopeful and well constructed, before going back into the intergalactic stuff. In track 2, Omega Cannon, it's the second drop, which I would have to say is easily my favourite on the whole EP, allowing the fruity, jumpy wubs from the first drop to take centre stage to powerful effect. Not only that, but the euphoric breaks in this sequence are lovely and show Thompson really coming into his own. And in track 3, Spacewonk, it's the progressions to the drops that stand out most for me, where he deploys these chomping, jabbing sounds in what is quite a humorous development, but it really works, lending an energy to that track, which is increased tenfold the second time around. It's very well done. So yeah, whilst it will differ for everyone which moments they enjoy most, I think it's fair to say that there are fantastic ones in all 4 tunes. However, more so than other recent Chime EPs, Sidequest does come with its drawbacks. Most glaring for me would have to be the initial drops in Spacewonk, which have quite the deflating feel to me. Drops that appear sluggish and far from remind me of the joy and glee that we usually associate Chime's music with. The drops in Wallbreaker I'm also not particularly fond of, releases that may be quite rich musically, but which, in owing to the title, are more like walls of fuzzy, forceful sound than anything. The second drop does do a bit more with that sound, but it's nothing like the extremely wild and inventive Chime that we're familiar with. That being said, it is something different with Sekai involved, and perhaps one that I'll get used to the more I listen to it. With the first 2 tracks, Sidequest and Omega Cannon, it's not so much a case of anything being bad per se, just that he's got to such a standard recently that the extremely good has become normalized for him, meaning that the drops in these 2 tracks are good, with way more going for them than almost everything else out there, but they don't quite take his sound to another level like a Face Punch or a Damage, Coins of course. There are some great sounds in both, like the dark, oozy ones in Sidequest, also like how the second drop picks that track up, and in Omega Cannon you obviously have that amazing aforementioned second drop, and the first isn't that far off it, but overall I'm left feeling like there's something crazy to be unleashed in the heaviest parts of both those songs. Despite these drawbacks, however, there are other aspects of the EP that work really well. He does a great job at all times of throwing sounds at the listener, keeping you guessing when his ideas are at risk of going flat, which may sound random, but it's actually very carefully, astutely done, always providing new points of interest. I've mentioned a couple of the introductions already, but parts of Spacewalk aside, I think they're all very good. Yet to mention the layering at the beginning of Omega Cannon, but it's insane, really fervent energy to kick that track off. And lastly, the builds, something which Thompson has said to struggle with a little bit in the past, but which are much improved here. Mostly more considered and drawn out, the first one of the EP on the title track is especially well crafted. But overall, I will go back to my original idea in saying that while Sidequest is without the ridiculous wow factor of other recent Chime EPs, as a project it's still up there with the best of this year in the context of bass music generally. The bad, I have to say, is reflective of the standard he set. His lacking is still really good on the ear. There are moments that don't hold up as well, but the majority of this music is extremely well put together. In the process, he is bringing joy and colour back into dubstep music, an aim he has and which I think he is succeeding at 100%, with more than enough character and flavour in amidst the less on point stuff, each track with a story to tell, getting that mix between good feeling and darkness almost always just right, which is undeniably rare these days, but now we have that reliable producer in Chime. And once again, with a mind-blowing wealth of sounds on offer, Sidequest isn't hyper creative, but it still goes some way towards that. At the end of the day, it's just another very enjoyable listen, a fantastic dose of what's needed in dubstep music. And I'm really happy for him because honestly, I feel like from here, he is completely sorted. He has a very identifiable sound and style that can branch into different genres and tempos, as we've seen already. He has a label, he's producing on different labels himself, collaborating with exciting producers as well, with a battalion of fans behind him now too. So yeah, as always, I look forward hugely to what Chime has in store for us next. Now, in terms of my favourite on the EP, the first two are more complete for me than the final two, and Omega Cannon edges it just for that second drop. As I said, my favourite on the EP. And in terms of recommendations, if you enjoyed the EP, then I would just look at all of Chime's recent discography. If you enjoy Sidequest and haven't heard that stuff, then my word, you are in for a treat, my friend. And so there we have it, guys, for another review on the Nawtystep channel, this time of the new EP from Chime, released on Disciple, Sidequest. Thank you very much, and as always, for tuning in. What did you guys make of Sidequest? Do you have a favourite track from the four? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, then be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hitting the notification bell along the way. Nawtystep is all about coverage of bass music across a wide variety of genres, from EP and album reviews to top 5s and top 10s, rave footage, opinion pieces and more. So again, if that's something that interests you, then consider subscribing. For some other Disciple related videos, check out the link next to my head somewhere. If you're not following Nawtystep across social media yet, links to all of those are in the description box down below. And lastly, if it's naughty, then you know, guys, so be sure, as always, to keep it naughty and stay safe. And I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Peace out.